Donald Trump's 2016 presidential campaign focused on a mix of populist, nationalist, and conservative policies that resonated with many Americans at the time. Here are some of the key policy areas and positions he emphasized. 1. Immigration, border security, and wall construction. Trump advocated for building a wall along the U.S.-Mexico border to prevent illegal immigration and reduce drug trafficking. His slogan, "Build the Wall," became one of the defining aspects of his campaign. Ending sanctuary cities. He pushed to cut federal funding to sanctuary cities, which limit cooperation with federal immigration enforcement. Extreme vetting. Trump proposed extreme vetting for immigrants and refugees, especially from countries associated with terrorism, restricting immigration. He aimed to reduce both legal and illegal immigration, citing concerns about jobs and national security. 2. Trade and economy. America First trade policy. Trump argued that international trade agreements were costing American jobs, specifically in manufacturing. He promised to renegotiate or withdraw from trade deals like an AFTA, North American Free Trade Agreement, and the Trans-Pacific Partnership (TPP). Tariffs and imports. He proposed tariffs on imported goods, particularly from China, to protect American industries and reduce the trade deficit. Tax cuts. Trump campaigned on a plan to cut taxes, both for individuals and businesses, to stimulate economic growth. His proposal included reducing the corporate tax rate to make U.S. businesses more competitive globally. Job creation. He focused on bringing back manufacturing jobs to the U.S. by creating incentives for companies to invest domestically, rather than outsourcing. 3. Healthcare repeal and replace the Affordable Care Act (Obamacare). Trump promised to repeal Obamacare, which he argued led to rising premiums and limited healthcare options. He sought a market-driven replacement to lower costs and increase competition. Healthcare market reform. Although he didn't have a detailed replacement plan, Trump suggested measures like allowing insurers to sell policies across state lines and promoting health savings accounts (HSA letters) as alternative health care solutions. 4. Foreign policy. America First. Trump's foreign policy mantra was America First, focusing on prioritizing U.S. interests and reducing involvement in conflicts that did not directly affect national security. NATO and allies. He criticized NATO members for not paying their fair share and called for allies to take more responsibility for their own defense, especially in Europe and East Asia. Middle East. Trump voiced strong opposition to the Iran nuclear deal and pledged to dismantle it, calling it one-sided and detrimental to U.S. interests. ISIS and terrorism. He promised to take a more aggressive stance against ISIS and terrorism, including actions like increased bombings and targeting ISIS funding sources. 5. Criminal justice and law enforcement. Law and order. Trump ran as a law and order candidate, promising to crack down on violent crime and protect law enforcement. He criticized movements that he believed contributed to anti-police sentiment. Support for police. He advocated for stronger protections and support for law enforcement and argued against policies that he felt undermined police authority. 6. Second Amendment and gun rights. Protecting gun rights. Trump aligned with the NRA and pledged to defend the Second Amendment. He opposed expanded gun control measures, like universal background checks or assault weapon bans, which were favored by some Democrats. 7. Environmental and energy policies. Deregulation. Trump proposed rolling back environmental regulations to reduce costs for businesses, arguing that environmental rules like the Clean Power Plan were burdensome and stifled economic growth. Withdrawal from the Paris Climate Agreement. He expressed skepticism of climate change science and committed to withdrawing the U.S. from the Paris Climate Accord to prioritize American energy independence. Energy independence. Trump promoted an all-of-the-above energy strategy that included expanding fossil fuel production, oil, natural gas, and coal, and reducing reliance on foreign energy. 8. Judicial appointments. Conservative justices. Trump vowed to appoint conservative judges to federal courts, including the Supreme Court, who would interpret the Constitution in a strict, originalist manner. His promise to fill the late Justice Antonin Scalia's seat with a conservative was a significant rallying point for his base. 9. Education. School choice. Trump supported school choice and proposed expanding charter schools and voucher programs, allowing public funding to be used for private schooling, reducing the role of federal government in education. He sought to shift more control of education to the states and reduce the influence of the Department of Education. 10. Veterans and military. Improving veterans' health care. Trump highlighted the need for reform in the Veterans Affairs VA healthcare system, proposing better access to private healthcare options for veterans. Rebuilding the military. he advocated for increased military spending to modernize the U.S. armed forces and ensure that America maintained global military superiority. Summary: Trump's 2016 platform was a blend of nationalist, populist, and conservative policies with a focus on America first. His goals included strengthening national borders, reshaping trade deals to benefit American workers, cutting taxes, dismantling parts of Obamacare, and rolling back environmental regulations. His campaign capitalized on a message of change, promising to upend the status quo in Washington.